Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. Do you know where we are right now? We are in the gold farm. This thing is an absolute beast. Guess what I've been doing in between episodes? I've been pretty much spending all of my time over here and actually just want to go back because there is this strange bug. Sometimes there is this little gap here. Can you see there's like a missing glass block? However, I bet you, let's relog right now. Let's go back onto the server. And it won't be there. See? That is so strange. It'd be a little bit different if it was the other way around, I guess. I don't know how to explain that. Anyway, let's go down and see the amount of gold that we've been doing, because I've been pretty much spending all of the time in between the two episodes just AFKing over here. Although I have gone to the end farm and done a little bit of item repairing and keeping all of my picks, you know, nice and repaired as it is. But that is pretty much all I've done. Otherwise, I've been here and I've been making sure I'm logged in a lot as well, and we have been getting a ton of gold. So let's see what's down here. This is just after a few hours of AFKing. Oh my god, it is absolutely full up, isn't it? And I don't think I'm going to grab these items straight away. However, I've been chucking away all of the rotted flesh, and then it occurred to me that rotted flesh in 1.8, which we are going to be updating to very, very soon now. I think I've got a snapshot, or at least the latest snapshot at this time of recording is stable enough for us to use, so we'll probably be updating to that very soon. But we'll be able to trade with villagers in 1.8 for the rotted flesh. So I think, collect a little bit of it. Not a lot, but I think I want to collect all of it now. So this is the gold that we have so far. Check that out. 5 stacks, almost a seventh. In fact, we've probably got a seventh's worth down there right now. It is amazing. It really is. This farm is an absolute beast. Now, this episode, what I want to do is talk about the design a little bit more, show you some of the other designs that I have. I did want to do that in the last episode, but this thing took a long time to build. And I also want to talk about UHC as well. But the first thing that I want to do is go into the Nether, because we have some problems in there that I want to show you. We'll also try and fix this in this episode as well. So if we go through this portal, you'll see that there are absolutely tons of zombie pigmen in here. In fact, I can't even see where I'm going. And my volume is off because of the portals. So let's turn it up a little bit. I've just picked up so much gold. That is insane. Let's throw all of this away and see if there's any more back there as well, because my inventory is full just from the stuff that goes through into the Nether. Now, this was a design flaw that some of the drops and pigmen would make their way in there. However, you know, it's another source of income for this stuff. So what we want to do in here is create some sort of trap that separates the pigmen and collects all of these drops that come through into the Nether as well. And there's a chicken in here. That's probably from a chicken jockey, right? So from all of that, we got ourselves over a stack of gold blocks. That is absolutely insane. This project is too much fun. There are just so many things I want to do with it right now. I think the most important thing for us to do at the moment is fix this problem with the pigment in the Nether. So this portal right here, it is temporary. There is going to be another one in around the same position up in the sky at the same height of that track in the future. So that should still synchronize with the one on the other side. But what we want in the Nether is another portal that's going to synchronize with all of these ones over here. So whenever the pigmen come through, they're going to target the other portal, and then that way we can build a trap around the portal, which should be fairly simple. It should just involve some hopper minecarts underneath to pick up the items, and then around the outside of this we'll create some sort of crusher trap, and then any pigmen that go through, they'll fall into that and get crushed whenever we're in the Nether. Because when the items and the pigmen go through, I think they all are clustered up on this, because the Nether literally loads for a tick, and then when I come through it's loaded properly, and then they all ping out and spread out, which is something that I've seen happen when I'm in here. But what I've got to do right now is get rid of all of these pigmen, and I think I don't want to fight them because they'll probably kill me. I don't have any armor on. And what I'm going to do is actually head all the way away. Just head down the tunnel and then head back, and they should have despawned naturally. So there we go, it worked like a charm. I got some obsidian on the way back, so now we can set up that other portal. I've got to go through and do a little bit of calculating before we just randomly build it and get geared up as well, which probably means some more pigmen are going to spawn while I'm out here, but I don't mind. It shouldn't be too many, you know, those are from hours and hours of AFKing, so it should only be 1 or 2, and this is where I put all my items. So I've just finished building this thing, and right as I finished doing it I realised that there is a problem with this. However, I don't think it's actually that big of a problem. But let me explain. The crusher that we have here is at the same height as the obsidian. So when the pigman comes through, then it's going to walk out onto the edge, and the idea would be that it would fall down into the crusher, which it can only do when the crusher is open. So the pigmen might end up standing on the obsidian as well, and then they wouldn't fall down. However, we're going to have a whole bunch of pigmen coming through here at the same time, because when we come through to the nether, that's when this thing is going to be loaded up properly, and then this thing get activated. So there's probably going to be a whole bunch of them at the same time, and they'll all shuffle down and push each other around and fall down there. So I don't think it's actually going to be that big of a problem. But what you're looking at right here is a really simple crusher setup. We've got the same hopper timer that we used before with the delay with these repeaters at the end. Then that signal out comes here, and it just goes off to a block with a torch above it to power the pistons, and then the same thing on this side over here. So it's all really simple, and I need to do a little bit of tidying up around here. But I guess we should probably do a test and make sure that this works. At the moment, the hoppers just go down there, and what I plan to do is add a little item elevator here with a chest at the side of this portal. So yeah, I think now is a good time to do a test, and we can find out if it will work like this. Okay, I've been AFK for about half an hour here, maybe a little bit longer, but I'm pretty sure that's about it. We also have our armor on, which is good, because that means I can just drop down here. It's quite a pain going down the ladder each time. There we go. So we are looking for these pigmen, and as soon as we go through this portal, we want to keep our eye on them. So, well, that's not good. They've come out this side, and none of them have come out that side. Well, that is interesting, because I done a whole bunch of testing here to make sure they would come through the right way. So let's go back through here. Let's see where that takes us, because I went through each of the portals twice, and they all seem to be synchronized correctly. Yeah, okay. I think what I should do is move this one further away and move it further away in the nether as well. Then hopefully they won't have as many problems syncing on the other side. So we'll do the same test again after I've moved this portal. So with the gold that we just picked up there through the portal, I came and got the stuff from over here as well, and also double checked how long we were actually AFK for. It was pretty much 30 minutes, and if you have a look here, we almost got enough to craft 2 stacks of ingots. So that's a pretty good estimate for, you know, how much this produces. Just under 2 stacks of ingots every half hour. Sometimes I don't make this game easy for myself, do I? I made a little mistake here. Now I was trying to sync up the portals. I was having all sorts of difficulties. You can see I kept moving the portal further and further away, and because I didn't have torches, I put in some floating netherrack on fire, which I thought looked pretty cool. But it turns out the mistake that I made was in the nether, the axis or the direction I got the wrong way around. So we had our portals over there and over there, and they actually needed to be on this axis. So now we've got them quite close together again, facing the correct way, and I've just been checking them and they work. So this means that I've got to rebuild that crusher again. I will do all of that, and we will do this test, and then hopefully this time it will work. So another AFK test done. I think that one was about 45 minutes, maybe even an hour. I've been so busy, but now we'll be able to see if this thing works. Fingers crossed. I probably overlooked some small little detail again. And there we go. I thought I heard crushing. And it looks like we didn't get a lot of them coming through, really, did we? Now I can see there's no drops on the middle there. One of the things I forgot to do before was to put the minecarts in. They're now underneath the obsidian, so they are going to pick up all of the drops. And they should be sending them into here. Looks like that's already been done. That is not right. That is not right for how long I've been AFK, I'm sure of it. We should have had a lot more pigmen here. I think that means I'm going to have to do yet another test. And there's a possibility here as well that the pigmen could step out of the portal and then go back in again. But that means they'd just be in the farm on the other side, which is exactly where we want them to be. Anyway, I'm going to go check the amount of gold we got from this and make sure that something hasn't gone wrong here. So I've been super busy today, and that's not the best when you're trying to record an episode. I feel a little bit disjointed from where we left off. We were doing some testing, and now I've done a really long AFK test because I've made sure to leave myself logged in. So this time when we go through, we should see some more pigmen. But we only see a couple. This is interesting. I've got this feeling that they're coming through here and then they're going back the other side. Or maybe the nether is actually loading somehow. Because when you send items through from the overworld to the nether, as we know, it only loads for a tick. which is a 20th of a second, so I don't know really what's going on there. But that would suggest that actually the nether is loaded and that all the items are coming through, which is fascinating, because that shouldn't be happening. Well, I'm going to have to think about that. I've got this feeling that I've missed something obvious, but probably not, I don't know. Like I said, I'll think about it. We should move on to the next thing. We have spent a long time at this gold farm. It's time to do something else. Okay, it is time for us to go to the end and talk about something else that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. Now I want to talk about UHC. I mentioned it a little bit in the last episode, and you know what, I don't really want to talk about too much about what happened. You saw it all happen. This guy is angry at me. Let's just back away slowly. My volume is really loud, and this is the place where you don't want any volume at all. This place is seriously noisy, and it's going to be totally broken when we update to 1.8 because of those endermite. They should make it pretty unusable because they spawn where the endermen take damage, and that's all the way at the bottom here, although they are one-hit kill. I'm pretty sure it's going to break it, but I haven't done any testing. But I'm getting a little sidetracked here. I wanted to talk about UHC, and while I'm over here, what I've actually come here to do is to make some things for the other players on the servers. Now we had 12 participants in UHC, so what I want to do is create 12 notch apples. And that's right, that's the one with the golden blocks. Let's do this right now. I know some of you have been watching thinking, when is he going to craft some golden apples? Okay, let's go over here. So we want 12 of these. That's one for each contestant. And that halved nicely. That's pretty cool. And my maths is just not right, is it? Let's try that again. So we want to go all the way to 12. There it is. And then those ones make 12 on the other side. Awesome, look at that. So the only difference between these two... Oh, this one's enchanted. Okay, that's good, that's good. Now, I knew that we had the aqua colour and the light purple, but I was thinking to myself, when this is in an item frame, what's going to be the difference here? What's going to make you say, you know, look at that notch apple? So, regular one on that side. Yep, that is so much better. I am really glad I decided to do that. I figured since we had so much, well, it wouldn't really be a waste, would it? So we want to rename each of these apples. We want to do it so each contestant has one saying UHC Season 1 contestant or something like that. And then for myself, DMAC and Biffa, the survivors, we're going to have 3 golden swords and they're going to say like UHC Season 1 winner. And then each player will get a block of gold and an item frame to put their notch apple on, and me, DMAC and Biffa will have 2 blocks, and then we can put that somewhere like in our base, and then every season that we play, because we do plan on playing more, we can slowly build those up and everyone can have like a little collection of mementos, I guess you could say, from each season. So how much do these things take to rename? 39, but if we halve that you'll see it doesn't cost as much. That only costs 30 now. That's interesting actually. I know they go up 5 at a time. See, 5. Oh, I have to do this each time, do I? Yeah, 10. So what happens after 30? Something different. This is just a day of learning stuff, it feels like. So at 70 it goes up to 35. Then it goes up to 39. And it stays there. So you could possibly rename an entire stack of items for 39 levels. That is something I did not know. Very, very cool. I'm glad we learnt that. One other thing I'm interested to see is if the renamed item keeps the colour, and it does there, which is really cool. So I need to get 39 levels of EXP. That shouldn't take me too long. While we're doing that, I can talk about what I wanted to talk about in UHC. As I said, if you watched it, you kind of know what happened. The thing that I really wanted to talk about was just to address some of the people in the comments, because some people were kind of unhappy with me. They thought that I was bossy and that I was being rude to the others. And the thing is, I spoke to them before we started playing. I said, you know, I play UHC a fair bit. I know what to do. Are you guys happy with me taking a bit of command and telling us, you know, what to do to try and win this thing? And they were happy. They were happy for me to do that. And I would have been happy for them to say, no thanks, we just want to play and have fun as well. Because I'm a competitive person, but I'm not a sore loser, and I'm not someone who's overly competitive or competitive when it's not really necessary, you know. So I know when to be competitive and when not to, and with this UHC I really wanted to win, and so did my teammates, and they were happy for me to kind of take the lead there. So that's why I was kind of being naturally bossy and giving orders. So anyway, let's look at this. What are we going to write here? Might have to think about this for a second. So I've pulled out all the big guns on this one. We are using Unicode stars at either end here. That looks really awesome. UHC1 participants. And that word, I pulled out the old thesaurus to find an alternative word from contestant, and I think contestant actually sounds better, so I'm going to change that. But I normally pronounce thesaurus, thesaurus, and that is ridiculous. That is not how it's pronounced. I almost said it then as well. Oh, I can be such a derp sometimes. But there we go. I think we've got to make our mind up on this. UHC1, contestant, that is how it's spelt. Yep, I got it on the other screen, so I'm double checking that. Boom. And that's worrying. That's extremely worrying. What? What were the chances of that? Do you know what just happened? It landed on the ender chest, which means the hoppers underneath are going to suck it up. They're going to take it all the way through the system and dump them into this chest right here. Had a little panic attack for a second there. There we go. We got our apples back. That's good. And now we should see the carpet come through. I did just chuck that on the ground as well. And that's a trap chest, right? Nope, okay, apparently we don't get our purple carpet back. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. And now Cleo's talking to me. I did not. Been meaning to do that. There we go, look, I got some diamonds in the chest here, so we can do that. We're going to go drop these over at Hermittown 1.7, so that works out well, because I think that's where Cleo is at the moment. But there we go, we've done the UHC1 contestant, and now what we want to do is the UHC1 winners thing. And what do I need for that? I need to craft some golden swords, which is nice and easy. And there's 4 of them, we only need 3. And I'm going to enchant them as well. Now I'm not going to get fussy about what enchantments are on each of them. I am probably just going to do... We'll just do a level 1 on each of them. I can't be bothered to to level up. I've had a really long day. So let's put that in there and see what we get. Of course, it doesn't really matter. And I would have to block all of these to get the low enchantments. So let's do that quickly. Well, sharpness 1 on each of them. That is great. That feels just right. So now what we need to do is find an anvil and rename this thing. We're going to need 5 levels, and we can't stack these either, so I'm going to have to get 15 levels over here quickly. Victor, I'm not so sure about that. How about champion? And I missed the P. There we go, that is the word we want to use. You can see here I was playing around with some other Unicode stuff as well. I'm not really sure. I think this one right here looks okay, but I think that would have been better for the first one that we did, because it's hollow and then the next one is full. Kind of means like a little bit of a step up perhaps, but I think we're just going to remove that and keep it nice and simple. UHC1 champion, and can I copy all of this? Can I go... Yes, I can highlight it, I can Control C, and apparently that costs 9 levels to rename, so I'm going to have to go get some more. And there we go, we can paste that in, which is nice. And now we can finish this up. And I do believe we are now done here in the end. We just need to take these back to the new Hermit Town. We're going to drop these off with the apples, some item frames, and some golden blocks as well. I have just had a complete OCD moment. I pictured it there in my mind for a moment. How cool it would look if you had a row for all the seasons of UHC you've played, and you had... Oh, I like the way that looks there. Now I've given it away, but imagine it like this, you know, you won that season, and then you didn't win those ones, like on a wall. I just think, you know, one after the other, that is going to look so cool. And you can see here, what I've done is I put in the hollow star, I mentioned that a moment ago, so UHC1 contestant, and then a notch apple for the champions with the stars filled in. I think that's going to look a lot better in the long run than having the 2 sets of items. So after doing all of that, I had to rename them yet again, and I got this horrible feeling that we're going to lose a couple of the items. There should be 9 of those. Here we go, we've lost something already. This always happens. At least it wasn't one of those notch apples. Okay, it looks like I've got another item to do here. So we have arrived in Hermit Town 1.7, and I've just made 12 signs, 12 chests, 12 blocks of gold. And of course I'm one of the people receiving one of these. I don't need to leave myself a chest, however that's just what I'm going to be doing right now. Going around to everyone one by one, leaving them a chest. Inside we will put a golden block, the item frame, and the golden apple like that. Maybe that will kind of signify my intention to have the item frame on the golden block with the thing in it. We could actually just put that down instead of using the chest. Yeah, I think I'm going to try that actually. Let's see what it looks like. I'll let everyone know through Skype that of course I've like dropped them off something in their base. But let's give this a go. That is really cool. I think, yeah, that works so much better than leaving a chest. Awesome. Okay, let's go around and do these. Look at this snazzy looking place right here. I have just come up to Spunwax Mansion. It's been some time since I've last been here, but this is definitely new. And if you're watching, guy, this is an awesome looking room. I especially like the acacia on the ground. That gives a really nice rug kind of feel to it, even though there's no rug actually there. In fact, maybe rug isn't even the correct word. It's just kind of cozy and nice. And I was just going to leave this outside, but I thought, no, I'll go inside and put it down. I don't really know where to put it, but we'll put it in this space over here, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do with all of this after seeing this room right here. It is really good. But there are only a few left to do. We've got Corrales, and then Cleo, and Joe Hills, and then that'll be the last of them. Well, I played around with this for a while. I built a wall over here. I tried putting this in different positions, but it always kind of looked out of place just because we've got an even width here and there's only one of these. So it'll probably look a little better when there's another one next to it, and we are doing another season. In fact, I think we all want to do lots of them, so every other season it'll look a little bit out of place. Just because of symmetry and stuff like that. But for the rest of this episode, what I want to do is to pop into some of the test worlds where I was trying out different gold farm designs and talk about that, because there are some interesting things that I want to talk about, and we have been rambling on about UHC for quite some time now, and I don't know why I'm heading down here, because we need to log off the server. So this was the first design that I made. This was the concept. I came here and I built it. And the reason why I got a little bit worried was because there are a couple of problems, one of them being FPS. Around here I get like 60 frames per second and it can be a little bit stuttery. However, on Hermitcraft it's around 90 to 120, which is awesome. But let me talk about one of the problems that put me off here. It turned out not to be really a big deal, but when one of these guys spawns, and like that guy back down there just did, I think he fell all the way to the bottom, but the pigmen, they spawn and then they walk over the trapdoors and they fall down below, and what they do, like that guy is demonstrating, is land down here on the bottom, and they can be standing in the next portal but they won't go through it. And I've now realised that that is because there is a 30-second cooldown, I do believe, for mobs when they come through a portal. They can't go back through one for 30 seconds, so that kind of makes sense. But as you saw, that guy took full damage when he came from the top, and then he died when he landed on the bottom, and I thought that could be a problem. But the thing is, the items go straight through into the nether, as we've learnt, and we've been picking up a lot of gold from the nether as well as the overworld. And I think the only problem there is there's a very, very slim possibility that items might land on the edges of these trapdoors, which I think is really, really slim, and then they would despawn. So it turned out not to be a problem after all, which is good, because these next two designs were nowhere near as good as this one. So this one is definitely my favourite. And it's a shame that it didn't work actually. Let's talk about why it doesn't work. First of all, look at this. The frames are just going to disappear. It's going to go all the way down to 20. That is some insane lag right there. That is because we have water in between each of all of these portals. And I do believe it's something to do with the transparency of both that's causing that lag. But when you stand at the edge here like this, it's not so bad. But I really like this design because it's clever. You know, the pigmen will spawn. Eventually they'll walk out into the water and then they have nothing to do but drown. And it does take a while to kill them when they're drowning. However, the thing is, this gets hardly anywhere near as many drops, and I couldn't quite figure out why, because if they drown in the water, the drops are going to make their way all the way down to the bottom, or they're going to go into a portal and you can collect them on the side of the nether. But for some reason we just didn't get anywhere near, like not even a tenth the amount of drops of the other farms. So for obvious reasons, the lag and the lack of drops, I decided not to use this one. However, I really like the way it uses the water. So this is the third design, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory why I didn't go with this one. It's not very big, it's not very ambitious. The problem here is that because the player stands in the middle, you know, you have to position the portals in this way where there's not a lot of obsidian sharing going on, and overall it wasn't that great, and it's pretty obvious why I decided not to go with this one. But I'm glad that I took the time to build it because the rates were really bad and I wanted to make a beastly farm, and this would have been the wrong one to build, that's for sure. So here we are back in the first Portal test world. This is going to be available for download. A lot of you have been asking for a tutorial, and the truth is it would take a ton of time and effort to make a tutorial for something like this, and I've already done an LP episode where I built it. You could definitely use that as a guideline on how to approach this project, and the world download would help you as well. So building the obsidian portals is pretty straightforward. The one thing I think might be a little bit confusing is the crusher setup. So you can use this world and get that. You've got the timer over here, and the crushers are pretty simple. There's just where is it? There we go. You've got a half slab, and then the crusher block is the one above it, and it looks like there might actually be something wrong with the redstone here. I might have broken it when playing around with it, but I'll have a look at that and fix it before I upload it. But there you go. That is the portal farm right there. You've seen a little bit of the behind the scenes on how I came up with the idea and put it together in this test world. And as always, if you have enjoyed this episode, please do leave a like. It will always be appreciated. That world download is in the description box. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.